Hey friends! I was in the mood to use some of those new swatches that they just added to the base game, so I decided to renovate one of the apartments in City Living. So this apartment is 1310 21 Chic Street. It's the building where Penny Pizzazz lives in San Myshuno. If you want to add it to your game, I'll have it linked down below if you want to download it from the gallery. So I start by demolishing everything and redrawing the floor plan. I do keep it as a 2-bedroom. I basically just move the bathroom over closer to the bedrooms and make them a little bit smaller. And for the kitchen, I really wanted to use one of the new swatches on those base game counters. I was really excited for that update and pretty surprised. I don't think anyone was expecting that big of an announcement for especially for the base game. So I'm really liking the direction that the Sims team is going with refreshing all of this older content, like all these new swatches and the spa day refresh. I think it's a great way to generate some excitement for content that at least I'm not using as much anymore with all the newer packs. So definitely great. And I go with that kind of beige color for the cabinets and the stove, which really influences the rest of the apartment. And, you know, love it or hate it, beige really is a realistic color palette for a rental apartment like this. And some of this furniture just started as a placeholder just so I could get the layout right. But I ended up just keeping it. It really kind of fits into that boring beige theme that I was kind of going with for this apartment. And over by the apartment door, I wanted to create, you know, a little entry area with a shoe rack and a table and a mirror. But something I was just thinking about you could do with this area instead is add laundry. You know, I see a lot of laundry closets near, you know, the entries of apartments and kind of nestled into a closet. So I think, you know, that would be pretty realistic if you wanted to add laundry to your gameplay. You could also add it into the bathroom behind that wall and just kind of bump out into the entry area a little bit. I think that would fit in pretty well there too. And of course I wanted to use some more of those new swatches, so it does take me a minute to find a table that I like and a swatch that I felt went with the rest of the apartment. And I really love that wood tone on that mirror, so I do use that pretty much throughout the apartment that you'll see kind of like on these tables. And I wanted to make sure there were some skill building items in the apartment too for your Sims to use. So I did get that chess table in there, and then I also wanted to add a dining table. So I move around the furniture a bit to try and get that in there. And I think that layout works a lot better than what I was going with before. So as I'm furnishing the apartment, the Sims that I had in mind for this unit are like a single dad and his kid. There are 2 bedrooms, one for an adult Sim and one for a kid. And I imagine that this isn't the kid's permanent home, like they'll visit on weekends or something. I really think the beige color palette of this apartment reflects that pretty well too. And I find it's really helpful to have some Sims in mind when you're building. Even if you haven't actually created the Sims, I think it can help make the space feel a bit more personalized. And as you can see, I'm struggling to find something to put on the wall. I was originally going to keep this as more of a base game build to focus on those new swatches, but if you want to put this in San Myshuno, obviously you need City Living, so I do use some City Living items like those prints that I put on in the living room. And I do keep the bathroom pretty basic, but of course I do try to use more of those swatches, kind of obsessed with that medium wood tone that I mentioned before. So the sink and the mirror are both in that color. And this is probably a little bit more decorated than a single dad's apartment would normally be. So you might just have to and you may have to get it together. And you may have to suspend your disbelief a little bit with how much this bathroom is decorated. If it's supposed to be a single dad's apartment, I'm sure it wouldn't be. And you may have to suspend your disbelief with how much this bathroom is decorated, if this is supposed to be a single dad's apartment. But I couldn't leave that bathroom completely barren, so I did add a rug and the towel racks there. And speaking of the Swatch update, which pack do you want them to refresh next? I'd really love to see them go back to all the early stuff packs, like Luxury Party, Perfect Patio, and Spooky Stuff. Luxury Party, I think, only had like 12 items in it. Most of the new kits have more than that. And Perfect Patio does have more content, but I think it's the only way you can get a hot tub. I don't think there is one in base game. But I think they should definitely add one to base game and then maybe add some new ones to that Perfect Patio stuff pack. I think they could also add some different gameplay items into that pack, like maybe some yard games, something like that. And here I'm doing the kids' bedroom. I did want to add a bit more color to this room, but there is still plenty of beige, thankfully. No need to worry. And I also put up a bunch of posters all over the walls to give it a little bit more personality. I've also seen some people on Twitter talking about ideas for a potential outdoor retreat refresh. Some ideas that I saw on there were like adding summer camps for kids in Granite Falls, maybe adding some interactive animals like squirrels and deer, like what they did in Cottage Living, adding canoeing and kayaking, since they have that sort of mechanism from Island Living, adding hammocks, hiking trails like in Snowy Escape, bird watching, sleeping bags, plus more aspiration, skills, maybe even a career. You know, they could even make the lake swimmable in Granite Falls. I think that would be really useful, kind of like what they have in Cottage Living and Island Living. But I think, you know, updating Outdoor Retreat would be a really great way to add some gameplay, especially for kids. I know that's still really lacking in The Sims 4. But what do you all think? Is that a pack that you'd like to see refreshed, you know, soon, or is there something else that you'd rather see before that? And now I'm just decorating the parents' bedroom here. Again, trying to keep it kind of base game and city living. I tried to squeeze some end tables in between the wall and the bed, but it wasn't really working how I wanted, so I just stick with one on the side there and add a dresser and like a TV and some kind of clutter on top of it. And again, trying to use more of those swatches, trying to take advantage of that. And I think this apartment ended up being around 22,000 simoleons for the furnishings. So it's not quite, you know, entry level, but you could always edit it and get rid of a couple things like the TV or something else to make it more affordable. But I think the weekly rent is still the same as long as you put it in the same place. So that shouldn't make a big difference. And I do swap out the beige for just some white tile in the bathroom, which I think is still on brand, still pretty basic for this kind of apartment. And then I also add table lamps in the living room and both of the bedrooms before kind of wrapping it up here, and end up kind of moving the furniture around a little bit in the living room for a little bit better layout, I feel. And that'll pretty much wrap it up. I'll leave you with some screenshots. It's available on the gallery if you want to download it. Please like this video if you enjoyed it, and subscribe if you want to see more. Thanks all.